The Oppo Find X9 Pro has been released alongside with the normal X9, and especially as I didn't find any good information in English. Yes, there were some known YouTubers who got the device earlier. Apparently the global version that will be released later this month, but is not out yet, but it is already out in China. I thought I collect all the information, bring them together so that you know what you can expect. Let's start first with the specs of this device, and especially the camera specifications. First of all, it would run the Dimensity 9500, just like the Vivo, the newest MediaTek CPU or SoC. 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM are available, 7500 mAh battery, but this is for the Chinese model. So the global version, I expect it to be 1000 mAh less at least, if not even more. We have 6.78 inch sized display. You can see the resolution here. We have a 200 megapixel main camera sensor here for telephoto. So it's not the main camera sensor for taking normal wide shots, because this one is a 50 megapixel one. It's the Sony IMX, what is it? Lit 828, as far as I'm aware, 50 megapixels, 1/1.28 inch size sensor, multi-directional PDAF OIS, of course, the 200 megapixel periscope telephoto sensor, however, 1/1.56 sized inch sensor. So it is basically something that we have in the Ultra last time, or the Find X8 Ultra, that has the same sensor size but less megapixels. So we have a newer sensor here for sure with 200 megapixels and a very bright aperture of f2.1. Then we have an ultra wide angle, a bit of smaller, with 1/2.76 inch size sensor, but also PDAF, so micro photography is possible with this. We have laser autofocus, we have the Hasselblad cooperation and color calibration as well. Selfie camera is 50 megapixel as well. It's a bit of a smaller sensor. It's the same sensor size as with the ultra wide angle, but it features also autofocus. And now let's come to the more interesting part, the photos. And here you can see an example of how much of an improvement this new Find X9 Pro's telephoto camera in comparison to the Find X8 Pro really delivers. I would even say the Find X9 Pro can deliver sharper shots, nicer telephoto shots than the pretty large already Find X8 Ultra. Here you can see the example. The Find X8 Pro has no chance at all against the super detailed shot of the Find X9 Pro. How does it achieve it? Yes, it has a special new mode, which is a 200 megapixel high-res shooting mode that can give you something that DSLRs sometimes can struggle with. Tons of information, as you see here. This is just phenomenal in terms of like information. This is how it works. You can see on the right the preview of how the woman has been shot. So this is the final shot. The cool thing is on the left you can see how it will look like on screen. So you have different parts on the screen that it takes a shot of, and you have to really wait for the shot, like 2 or 3 seconds for the shot to really take place. So there's another part of the shot that has been generated, and you can see this is still blurry. It will be generated. Even if the subject, like this woman, is moving, it's still able to process it and able to stitch this together to create a very high-res 200 megapixel shot that is so sharp. You can see the end result, and then yeah, it's blurry. The rest of this will be rendered as well until you get the shot, and then it will be saved. So it will take a few seconds, but instead of just a progress bar, what you get is this preview that helps you to see what's going on. It makes sense to hold it still, but like I said, it has apparently some computational AI photography that is stitching things together very, very good. So you get this very nice shots. And another cool thing that we have added now on the Oppo Find X9 Pro series is 4K live photos. You know, this live photo kind of thing, that is a bit of a gimmick. It started, I think, with the Apples, like, yeah, people are moving for a few seconds and you take the shot, like, but it never really took off, in my opinion, because it does not have the resolution. Now with 4K live photo resolution, we get much higher resolution, and it makes it much more usable and useful. And we have yeah, 3 seconds. This is, I think, a bit of the delay, because I think it was 5 seconds earlier. Now it is limited to 3 seconds. Nevertheless, it is pretty helpful and useful for certain situations. You can see the difference between the live photo on the Oppo Find X8 Ultra, the Ultra model, and on the Find X9 Pro, the 4K version of it. A huge difference, as you see here, and this will also reflect then down to the different platforms where you can upload those live photos. In China, there are certain platforms that allow you to do this, like Shaanxi, so means the little red book, red note it's called, which allows you to now upload 4K live photos. The other thing is where live photos might come in handy is as a replacement for burst photography. In certain situations, you want to photograph someone. In this case, for example, yes, you have the perfect shot, but the person has its eyes closed. So what you can do in this thing, if you have recorded a live photo, is you can just wait a few seconds until the eyes are open again, and then, because we have 4K, we have now a high resolution, we get an 8 megapixel shot out of it instead of just a 2 megapixel shot, and it looks much nicer. You get a nicer picture there. So very useful indeed to get the best shot. And there are also some things that you can do with this 4K live photo shot. If you have it enabled all the time, it takes 3 seconds shot, to get the perfect moment, like for example this guy jumping in the air. And if you take the shot a little too early, you only get him like with the feet still on the ground, where here you have the live photo, you can just scroll a little bit further where he is like really in mid-air. And it's progressive AI technology is allowing you also to have the shot sharp, which is quite nice, so even for fast movements. And then you have like this nice shot here. There's another option that allows us to even slow-mo this whole 3 seconds clip to like 6 seconds. But then you can see how much the resolution drops from this 4K shot to like the slow-mo shot. It's like getting into the 1080p, even lower resolution, which is like a little bit of a bummer. So yes, it's nice that it's there, but it's a feature that probably you won't miss. Another thing that they improved a lot with the X9 Pro series is macro photography. We saw it already with the X8 Ultra, with the X8 9 Pro, the 70 millimeters, so the new telephoto sensor here, has nice macro photography capabilities. So you can get shots like this with nice bokeh, even in portrait mode, or even without portrait mode. We have a large lens, we can do this, the chipmunk here. Very nice detailed shot with this one without any issues. And of course, such things where you can photograph someone. First of all, portrait mode is very fast. Even if this 50 millimeter, like the ultra wide angle shot that we have here, can capture people in mid-air, and everything is nice and sharp, which is very cool. And you also have the differences here in terms of selfie photography, which is also quite interesting. We have a new algorithm there. We have a new realism. I honestly like the Find X8 Ultra shots a little bit better than the Find X9 Pro shot for selfies, because it's giving me a bit more warmth, which I like for people shooting. But I could imagine that some people like the little bit more toned down version here of this selfie shot, and even of this selfie shot here. Yeah, you be the judge. They have, of course, AI activated. You know, this is like taken from a Chinese video source, and they like to use, especially the women like to use the AI to beautify their faces a little bit. Looks almost, apart from the color difference, looks almost the same. Then this feature we know already is an AI feature. If you have like certain people doing funny faces here, you can just exchange the faces to an earlier face that you had before. Very nice addition if you want to rescue a photo. And this, of course, is a difference between the normal mode on the left and the master mode on the right, and the Hasselblad calibrated master mode, because Oppo is still working together with Hasselblad here. And yeah, you get a much more moodier shot with the Hasselblad colors profile, and a much more smartphone-y-like shot on the left that is also a bit over sharpened and a bit more punchy in terms of colors. And then we have a new feature that's not really talked about, a new expand mode. First of all, you can see the user interface has been changed to look a little bit more like a Hasselblad camera with its logo, and also some new settings there as well. You can see here there's an original. So yes, we have different film simulations that we can choose from. There's black and white, film CC, film negative, film positive, and so on, that you can choose here as different profiles to create this expand photo. This is like a very wide kind of photo, and they also bumped up the resolution of this wide kind of photo, because on the X8 Ultra I also can create those wide kind of photo. They look kind of good, but if you zoom in a little bit, you can see it's falling apart a little bit. It clearly seems like just being a crop of the main sensor. You have all the cameras available to choose this, shoot this expand mode, which is also quite interesting, but I think it was also already available for the X8 Ultra. What was not available, is still not available for the X8 Ultra, is this watermark. So if you create something in expand mode, we get like this watermark with the expand there. We get the Oppo Find X9 Pro here, the settings and so on, and the Hasselblad logo. What it does in the normal expand mode is I don't think we get this kind of a watermark here in the normal expand mode on the Find X8 Ultra or the Find X8 Pro for that matter. It doesn't have this nice kind of addition. Then, quite interesting, Oppo for the first time was also introducing a photography kit for us photographers who like to take shots, but they make it completely different than all the other ones that are basically counting on a physical connection, USB Type-C, and thick, bulky case. What they created is based upon magnets most of the time, which is quite interesting. So we have a normal kind of case here that you see, and this case has a magnet in here, MagSafe magnet, Hasselblad branded, but you can just use this case alone with the phone, and it looks like a nice case for the phone. And it's not looking too bulky like Xiaomi does it, or too flimsy or plasticky like Vivo usually has. And then you have a grip, and this grip doesn't attach directly to the case. What this grip does attach to is to a camera grip, to a magnetic camera add-on. The grip itself has a detachable shutter button with some controls for controlling the aperture, for example, or the exposure compensation with a little dial there. And we have a different button there as well, probably that you can freely configure to switch between video or photo mode. And we have a zoom rocker there as well that you can use for digitally zooming in and out. We have some connection here, and this is then first of all put onto the magnetic case, hold with the magnet, has a nice little stand, so you can use it as a stand alone if you want to bring this with you. And yeah, very, very functional, I think, because the case can be used alone. Then you have this add-on magnetic attachment stand, and if you want to photograph something, you put the grip onto the stand. Then the stand is not usable as a stand anymore, but at least you have then the possibility to have this extra grip there that you can use. And then the cool thing is, of course, there is also a zoom extender lens available. And this zoom extender lens needs to be attached somehow to the telephoto sensor. What they did is a very clever mechanism for the case that is already there. It's just a thing, a little metal thing that you slide onto the camera bump of the case, and this will then allow you to use the new zoom extender lens from Oppo to zoom in even further here. But you can see also that it's covering all the other holes, so you don't get the idea to use any other of those cameras, just this telephoto camera if you have this attached. Makes it quite cool, but you can also like just detach the whole thing then automatically and very easily put it in your pocket if you need to. So lens switching is quite easy with this one, and as everything is magnetic, you can also detach the grip quite quickly and still have the case and be have it very usable and useful without the risk of breaking your USB Type-C port or something like this. And also what I did not see yet, but I can only guess, is that the USB Type-C port is exposed still, so that if you want to record something with external audio, you have the ability to do so because the grip is not blocking the USB Type-C port. So this is quite interesting. This is how you hold it in your hand. You can see, yeah, it's quite extending. It's basically the same setup that you saw already on Vivo. And I think the millimeters that you can zoom in here with this one is pretty much identical. Not much of a difference. And this is how it looks like. Like I said, it's like blocking everything besides the microphone hole there and the telephoto attachment. You can see, yes, you can easily, there's a mechanism for it to attach or detach the lens quite easily. Let's talk about the other things apart from cameras regarding the new Oppo Find X9 Pro. The 9 Pro comes in two colors, as you see here. We have a white version and we have a bit of a grayish kind of, titanium grayish kind of version. And those here look quite nice. We have this flat design that we know already from the Find X8 Ultra, so it's getting even more flat than we had on the X8 Pro. You can see the new camera bump. That is a complete difference to what we had before with the X8 Ultra or the X8 Pro, where it was a round kind of in the middle placed. Here it's now tucked away into the corner. Reminds me a little bit of the Xiaomi 15 series that has it also tucked away a bit in the corner. We have the Hasselblad logo there. We have the flash outside. Here we have the periscope zoom, the main camera and the ultra wide angle. And there's another sensor, which I think is a color sensor, multi-spectrum sensor that they have. Also, you can see it's quite a bit of a large camera bump still, because we have larger sensor size there inside. And here you can see the two different versions here with a microphone hole there being underneath the main camera sensor as well. And which of those colors do you think looks best? I'm tending towards this grayish kind of color instead of the white, which is a little bit too shiny for me. And yeah, here you can see the difference between the Find X8 Pro on the left and the Find X9 Pro on the left, and the Find X9 the smaller kind of version. We can see we have a dedicated camera button. We had this already on the X8 Pro and X8 Ultra, and this is missing on the smaller vanilla version. What's the difference between the Find X9 Pro and the Find X9? It's first of all the screen size. The 9 Pro has a 6.79 inch size screen and 6.59 inch on the Find X9. Basically 6.8 and 6.6. So a bit of a small difference there. But there's a huge difference as well in terms of USB Type-C port, because we have 3.2 Gen 1 on the X9 Pro and only USB Type-C, but USB 2 speeds on the Find X9, which is a bit of a bummer. I think the missed opportunity here. They should have gone with the same kind of speed. Why lowering the speed? One of the new additions is something that we had already with the X8 Ultra. It's this new AI Mind option that is playing a mind trick with you. No, what it does is you have this little button here on the left, and if you press on it, everything that you have on the screen will be put into this like dynamic island kind of thing, and it will say, I saved it now into my AI memory. So that means if you have like a in this case probably some boarding passes or some warranty cards or some event or something like this, you just press this button, it will save it there, and later on you can just ask AI to search for it, and it will then find it. It can summarize articles, like for example if you are searching for a specific piece of present for your girlfriend or your wife, and you just taking the shots, save them into the memory there, and then you can ask the AI to create a summary for you of the best ones or the cheapest ones or the most expensive ones or whatever you like to have, and it will give you a summary of all those memories that you collected there. And very useful tool indeed. It's also coming to Oxygen OS, by the way, for some people who have seen the Oxygen OS 16 launch. They explain it there very, very good. Probably better than I did it right now here. One of the cool features, however, is that this new AI Mind, because we had it already in the Find X8 Ultra series, is it has a capability to record audio. So you can even have audio notes. So if you want AI to remember certain things as an audio snippet, you can just press and hold the button and then talk right into it and save it as audio. It will analyze the audio, transcribe the audio, and it makes everything that you said in the audio also searchable, summarizable, and yeah, it can be put together with images and links and other things together. So very, very useful indeed. this kind of AI, and I think this is the next step of where AI is developing. We saw it already. Nothing, I think, was the first that not invented, but then created such a space. No one really knew what to do out of it because it was not very clear, and I think nothing failed to make it clear. And I think Oppo is doing it a bit better with their, first of all, ColorOS and OxygenOS presentation. They're better at explaining what this AI tool can do and how it can act as an AI hub to bring out all the information together that you want AI to know about you and to analyze then what you want to do with this. Very, very cool and clever indeed. So this is my short summary of the ColorOS 16 plus Oppo Find X9 Pro. Most of the time Find X9 is also there, but more interesting is definitely the Pro version in terms of cameras for sure, and in terms of other features. What do you think about it? Write it down in the comment section. Until the next time, bye.